Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched was so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Greetings, American citizens, U.S. citizens. This is Mr. Citizen Patriot, citizen number one, United States of America. As you can tell and can see that I am a descendant of the chattel slaves of the United States of America. And we're here in the cemetery, the National Cemetery in Westwood, Brentwood, California. And I'm here with Bob Rosebrock. Bob Rosebrock is a United States military veteran of the Vietnam era, and he learned a lot. And what he learned then, he's applying to today. How ironic, from way back in the 60s, you're applying what you learned then to the situation we're dealing with today. Bob is the leading activist in making sure that this ground, it's not just a cemetery you see here, there's acres, and he'll tell you more about this, hundreds of acres sprawled all across here that was designated by the Congress in 1888, deeded to veterans of the U.S. military who are homeless, wounded physically, mentally, and this was their home. This is where they're supposed to come and rest from serving our country, and this was after the Civil War in 1861 and 1865, in which the slaves were freed, primarily by the Yankee Union soldiers. What is the Army of the
Grand Army of the Republic?
Grand Army of the Republic. And those veterans who survived that, thinking of themselves and the future generations of veterans, got this land. But unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, U.S. citizens, we the people, this land is not being used properly, and Bob will tell you about that. I want to introduce you to Bob Rosebrock. Bob, thank you for taking the time.
Patriot. Thank you very much.
Bring us up here to the sacred site.
Yeah.
So what is this, Bob? Where are we at right now?
Well, where we are right now is at the Los Angeles National Cemetery, and this land was all contiguous at one time. There was no freeway or Wilshire Boulevard or anything. It was about 600 acres. The two families gave to the United States government to be permanently maintained as a national home for disabled soldiers.
Okay.
And it was for, specifically at that time, the veterans of the Civil War, mainly the North.
Okay.
They were getting older in their years, and the cold climate of the North was taking its toll on them. They couldn't take them to the South, so they worked out a deal.
Whoa, stop you. Why couldn't they take the Union soldiers to the South, to the Grand Army? Why couldn't they take the Grand Army? Why couldn't they take them to the South?
Well, we started the Civil War all over again, because you had the South, and they...
It would not have been good.
No, not at all.
So they took the risk of going 3,000 miles, not on a plane or train or bus. Yeah. They hoofed it.
Many of them did. They walked all the way across the country, and then we ended up in San Francisco. And they walked down. Some took a train. Walked down
San Francisco, and then they walked down to here.
Yeah. It's been recorded, and they were going to build a home in the 1880s, in the late 1880s. And while it was being built, many helped in the construction. Beautiful old Victorian architecture.
I've seen it out there.
Yeah. I mean, they have beautiful resident halls, dining halls. It was like a city.
You should come see this, folks. I mean, you know, if you come to Los Angeles, take the time. Going to Disneyland and all those wonderful places, Venice Beach. Take the time, ladies and gentlemen, citizens. Come here. Come to this cemetery. Come and look at what those young men, those men did for our country. But
you're absolutely right. You know, we were talking earlier, there are 85,000 veterans from all wars from the Civil War forward. World War I and II, the Korean War, Spanish-American War, you know. And there are 85,000 interred here. And the LA County is 10 million people. We're about the only ones here right now. Yeah. And this is one of the most moving sights when you realize personally and stand here the sacrifices that these young men made, particularly during the Civil War, that we could be free. And like Ted had mentioned, his family, they were descendants of the chattel slaves. But for that sacrifice, we wouldn't have all this. And yet, on the other side where the home was originally built, it's been turned into anything and everything for our war-injured veterans.
Bob, ladies and gentlemen, from what I understand, correct me here, Bob, if I'm wrong. Folks, what I understand is LA, Los Angeles, is a world-class city. Is not only the national capital of homelessness, but it's also the national capital of United States military homeless veterans.
You nailed it right there, yeah.
This is the capital.
Yeah, and we've got the largest
How many?
VA,
6,000? About 6,000 veterans on the street?
6,000 to 8,000.
It's somewhere in there.
Yeah, and that's bigger than some cities across the nation. And yet, we have veterans living, as you know, on the sidewalk,
not on the freeway passes and so forth.
On the VA, right next to the VA. And the land inside, they've leased out 12 acres of probably some of the most expensive prime property, rent-free to the city of Los Angeles for a public dog park.
Folks,
that's not what these sacrifices were made for.
The Constitution of the United States, enforcing the Declaration of Independence, states the very first words of the Constitution is you and I. We, the people, including the dude behind the camera here, we, the people of the United States of America, in order to form a more perfect union, hereby establish this Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, it's up to us to take charge of this. Sorry about that. It's up to us, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, U.S. citizens. It's up to us to see to it that what Bob was beating in his heart, I believe, that he has received the mantle of these men and women to carry out their dream and their legacy. We need to get behind Bob and support him, because he's the only one that I know of that has the burden and the heart for this. Every Sunday afternoon, he's out there on the corner of Wilshire Boulevard and San Vicente, standing for what these men and women gave their lives for. So let us come together on this.
Well, thank you, Ted. You're absolutely right on it. You know, there's an old saying, we honor our dead veterans by taking care of our living veterans. While we can, yes, pay tribute to these who gave the ultimate sacrifice, unless we are taking care of those who survived and are still living today, homeless and hungry on the streets of Los Angeles, we are not honoring them. We are disrespecting them, and we're disrespecting what this flag means, what you stand for, and it's just a tragedy beyond description.
It's immoral. Bob, here's something very interesting. Remember now, these folks fought the greatest war in American history. More men died during the Civil War than all the wars of this country fought combined. So therefore, that is the greatest war, and probably forever will be the greatest conflict our country's ever had, because it defined who we were going to be as a nation of people, according to the Declaration of Independence. And at the very heart of this war were 740,000 innocent young white men and boys, along with 30,000 black boys and men, gave their lives over the existence of people who were chattel slaves who look like me. Now, you look at that, and you look at the fact that this is wearing red, white, and blue. You would think, some people think, why would a chattel slave descendant love this flag and the people who gave their lives, and why would he do that? It's in us, that's why. Bob, I want Bob to tell you a story about a man who won a Medal of Honor during the Civil War. Bob, tell us about the guy you want everybody to know. And he was the first, but there were more that came after him, right? And it had to do with this flag, didn't it, Bob?
You bet. It was a sergeant in the fighting for the Grand Army of the Republic, the North, and they always carried the American flag. And one of their key men was
now the color guard was out front, right?
Yeah, right.
And they get wiped out almost pretty right away.
They're not carrying a rifle; they're carrying a flag or a drum.
And it's a target.
You bet,
basically.
And take that out exactly.
All right, go ahead.
And anyway, the lead man had gotten hit, fell down. The flag was down. He ran in, grabbed the flag, came back, brought it back safely, which then re-inspired the Union to keep fighting, because that's what they were fighting for, what this flag stands for. It stands, it's the color of our skin has nothing to compare to the color of this flag. This stands for everything. And he was, just given a medal for his bravery, but eventually he became the first black soldier of the Civil War to receive the Medal of Honor. And he did it to save the American flag.
Which is the ideals of who we are as a people, what the Declaration of Independence says about us as a people. That's what he did. That's why I'm not a veteran. My father's in World War II, my brothers fought and so forth. Not me. For whatever reasons, I wasn't a veteran, but I owe this to the veterans and to the military people. I tell them, you put on a funny looking uniform to be shot at, that I may be free. The least that I could do is put on this uniform to bring attention to the fact that you were shot at for my liberty. So
nobody carries this out, and I don't say this as a mutual admiration society here, but I mean this, kid. There's nobody that can deliver this message inward and outwardly like you can. And we're missing one important part when we talk about the first black soldier to receive the Medal of Honor for rescuing the flag. In 2016, you put up the American flag with us out on that corner, and you were arrested in handcuffs. We've got the photos of it, for displaying the American flag.
That's ironic, isn't it?
In honor of those who have given their lives.
Yeah.
And this is why we're reflecting now what needs to be changed. This is wrong. If we're in the 21st century and the VA police come out and arrest Mr. Patriot putting up an American flag, and I'm going to add, it was a black VA police officer, which was so amazing that you'd think of what Dr. King had gone through.
The ignorance.
Yeah, Dr. King, to our knowledge, was never really handcuffed. They put his hands behind him and escorted him. But here they put you in handcuffs for displaying the American flag in honor of those who have given their lives and everything. Things have to change. This man is the greatest leader I know that can change it. We need to follow, and there needs to be some appreciation for this country and the sacrifices that have been made for our freedom.
God willing. God willing. Thank you, United States of America. Thank you, veterans, active duty service personnel. God bless you. Oh, God.